Guys, can I just ask you this question? Why do we think it's okay that women are going through everything they're going through in menopause? Like, we think it's an excuse. We think that they've made this stuff up. We think that it's actually maybe not even real. Why do we think that? I'm not talking about you. I know that you don't think that, but there are guys that think that. There are guys that think, you know what? This is all BS. This isn't even a real thing. She should just suck it up and deal with it. Well, we got problems too. Let me tell you something, guys. Yeah, we got problems, but we don't have this. Oh, wait, you think we have andropause, right? Okay. Andropause is a real thing. It is low testosterone. It's actually extremely low testosterone to the point where a man would deal with potential issues like anxiety or potential issues like pain or potential issues like depression or a number of things that would be a real problem. That's not fake. No more than menopause is. But here's the difference. Andropause, well, let me take a step back. We lose testosterone on almost a very predictable gradual decline, to the point where most of us don't even actually notice any issues about it whatsoever, ever, for the rest of our lives. Okay? But those of us who do, well, let's just say we can get testosterone replacement, right? And the reason that you go and get that and you don't get gaslit for asking for it and it's not a problem is because men were doing testosterone studies in the 1930s, basically 100 years ago. By the way, women had widespread medical studies begin in 1993. You can do the math. All right, back to andropause. I think it's like 10% of men actually have low enough T to where it becomes an issue to where it actually qualifies to be andropause. 10%. 100% of women go through menopause. Well over 50% of them have difficult symptoms. 20% of them have clinically depressive symptoms. Even 1 in 10 have suicidal thoughts. And they're not talking about it. They don't know about it. Their moms didn't prepare them for this. Did you know that? Did you know that moms actually didn't prepare women for menopause? That's crazy, right? I mean, menopause is literally happening to 1 billion women on the planet right now. Just never talked about it. Like it never existed. Maybe that's why there's men out there that think it's fake. You know, like the moon landing or something. But it's not. And there's a good chance that your wife, better than average, could have some difficult symptoms. Every woman's journey is different. But let me tell you something. It's not her fault. It's not an excuse. And she didn't make it up. She is losing hormones. And she's losing hormones like estrogen, testosterone, and progesterone. And she's losing these hormones that are affecting literally every area of her body. I'm not talking just physically, like weight gain, things like frozen shoulder, where she's lost estrogen, which is a natural lubricant in the body, and her shoulder's all locked up and she can barely move it. It can happen in both shoulders and it can go on for years. We'll set that aside for a second. Itchy ear canals. Tinnitus. You like that one? Tinnitus is a screaming sound in her ear, ringing sound in her ear, because it has affected the neurotransmitters in her ear canal, her loss of estrogen. Her loss of estrogen is affecting the areas of the brain that regulate mood. It's affecting the areas of the brain that regulate temperature. It's affecting the amount of serotonin that she has. And by the way, on the temperature thing, that's why she's having those hot flashes at night. In case you haven't noticed, one of the most common things that can happen to women in menopause is hot flashes. And then one of the most common things is that men think that's all there is, but it's a lot more than that. Affects the amount of serotonin in her brain. High levels of serotonin, that's your feel-good drug. You feel pretty good. Affects the amount of dopamine in your brain. High levels of dopamine, that's the feeling you get when you get a little text message or, you pull a handle at the casino. It's a good feeling. Women get less and less of those feelings as they lose these hormones, which is a natural phase of life, which is a completely misunderstood phase of womanhood. And for some reason, there's just a whole host of guys out there that are like, you know what? It's her problem. she needs to deal with it. Or, I didn't sign up for this. Well, neither did she. It's not one of those things where it's like, it's happening to her, so it's happening to me, which means I have to deal with it because it's happening to her. It's just happening to her. Like, maybe we should just make sure we're clear on that. It's just happening to her. Now, is it hard as a husband to see your wife in pain? Is it hard to see her go through mood swings that are out of her control because of what's going on in her body? Of course it is. But it's harder when you don't understand why, when you don't understand what's actually happening, when you judge her or you blame her or you think it's her fault. That is what I think is what makes menopause so hard for men. It's actually a lack of understanding. What makes menopause so hard for women is literally what's happening to their body. Do you know that they actually get a different type of fat in menopause? So there's subcutaneous fat. This is like, I'm eating a lot of Snickers bars, taking in a lot of calories, not exercising. Calories in, calories out. Subcutaneous fat, it's just like what you can pinch. But then there's visceral fat. Visceral fat is deeper in the body. You can't see it, right? It's not just under the skin, subcutaneous. It is wrapped around organs and it responds to hormones. The reason why you need to know that is women who gain weight due to the loss of estrogen, which is, amongst all these other things, responsible for weight distribution in the body. Well, now they've got this weight gain, which is in the belly area, that doesn't respond to them running like a hamster or starving themselves, which is what they'll try to do because we've set that expectation as well. But I'm not going to go down that road right now. So, amongst all the other things that are happening physically and mentally, by the way, raising kids, taking care of elderly parents, holding down a job, probably by age being at the height of her career, on top of all of that, she is dealing with this like roller coaster of emotions, complete wreaking of havoc on her body physically. And she wasn't prepared for it. And here's the bonus part, just a little cherry on top. Doctors were actually not trained. Doctors were not trained to support her on this. Do you know that? I didn't know that. I didn't know that until I started learning about this. Doctors were not trained to support her. And you know, you think about it, well, how the hell does that make sense? The truth is, if widespread studies didn't happen on women until the early 1930s, then, or 1990s, well, the results of those studies, I mean, those studies are 10, 20 years long, 30 years long. When do you think the doctors who are taking care of your wife today, in 2025, were in med school? Early 2000s, maybe? What results would they have been studying? What information would they have had? Probably none. So they gaslight your wife. She walks in, she's got these issues. She's complaining about frozen shoulders. She's complaining about weight gain. She's complaining about her mood. She's complaining about her lack of sleep. And they give her pills. Or they tell her to go down certain rabbit holes or go see specialists that take time and take money. When the issue is hormones. Well, then what do you do? Well, talk about hormone replacement therapy for men and andropause with testosterone. Truth is, it exists for women too. And estrogen happens to be the primary hormone of the three big ones, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, that women look to replace. There's two different types of estrogen replacement therapies, primary estrogen replacement types. I'm not going to get into that because you don't need to know it. Honestly, it's not that. You don't need to get that deep. You just need to know that it's an option. So I'll just tell you this. Don't tell her to go get HRT, hormone replacement therapy. Ask her if she's thought about it. Ask her if she's talked to her doctor about it. Ask her if she has a doctor that talks to her about any of this. And then go from there. But don't coach your wife on menopause. Let's keep this between us. You know, she's got people she can talk to. Encourage her to find a certified practitioner, certified doctor that knows what the hell they're doing.